The moonlight cuts through the grand foyer, illuminating polished rose brick walls, and glinting off the bits of broken wrought iron fence embedded in the garden, silent witnesses to countless tragedies. Some houses are born cursed, others earn it. The Mercer Williams House did both. Savannah's grandest mansion, the Mercer Williams House, began as a dream interrupted by war and ended as a stage for death. Elegant architectural flourishes, Greek Revival arches, Renaissance-style cornices hide a trail of blood and whispers. The Persian rug, with its intricate patterns of crimson and gold, was supposed to hide sins, not cradle them, and yet there he was, James Williams, the man who had cheated death and justice 4 times, lay perfectly still on the floor of his meticulously restored study. A faint, cloying scent of day-old perfume hung in the air. His hand, adorned with a heavy gold signet ring, was outstretched. The tips of his fingers almost brushed the very spot on the polished floorboards where, 8 years earlier, his lover, Danny Hansford, had fallen with a bullet in his chest. James Williams was no ordinary man. He was a restoration genius with a flair for drama and a thirst for beauty. When he bought the crumbling mansion in the 1960s, it was more than a project. It was possession. He filled its halls with priceless antiques, velvet drapes, and mirrors that seemed to watch you back. Savannah society clinked champagne glasses beneath chandeliers he'd personally rewired. But Williams had secrets deeper than his wine cellar. He met Danny Hansford, a young man of dangerous charm and volcanic temper. Their affair was both intoxicating and volatile. One was obsessed with preservation, the other with freedom. They were opposites, magnetized, until the magnet snapped. A housekeeper once overheard Danny screaming from behind the study door, "You think these antiques are your prisoners, Jim? Is that what I am? Just another damn trophy for your haunted dollhouse?" On May 2nd, 1981, jasmine bloomed in the garden, and gunpowder burned in the air. Neighbors heard the crash of furniture, then a single chilling gunshot. Danny Hansford lay sprawled on the polished study floor, his blood seeping into the crimson threads of a Persian rug. James Williams stood above him, eerily calm, silver pistol in hand. He claimed self-defense. Savannah didn't believe him. What followed was a media circus, 4 trials, 4 headlines, 4 acquittals. Williams never lost his poise, but something else cracked. After each trial, he returned to his mansion and cleaned and rearranged and polished, as if scrubbing history itself. To a friend, he once whispered, "This house is part of my soul. Leaving it would be a kind of death," and he never did. 8 years after Danny's death, James Williams collapsed in that same study, his hand, still adorned with a gold signet ring, stretched toward the exact floorboard where Danny had fallen. The scent of perfume clung faintly in the air, like a memory that refused to leave. The cause of death? Officially, pneumonia. Unofficially, the house had claimed him. Tour guide Eleanor Holloway had walked Savannah's streets for 60 years, but she never set foot past the foyer. He never really left, she told visitors, voice trembling with something older than fear. You don't pour your soul into a place and expect it to let go. He's still here, and he's not alone. At first, the hauntings were subtle. A book on voodoo fell from a sealed shelf. The ballroom lights flicked on at 3:17 a.m. every night, even when the breakers were off. Staff blamed power surges until the piano played itself. Not a sonata, not a Christmas carol, but a frantic, discordant melody. Notes that sounded like someone trying to scream through ivory keys. Guests reported the unmistakable clink of champagne glasses, faint laughter, and footsteps echoing up the stairs, always just one step behind. One guard, hardened, ex-military, quit after witnessing a tall silhouette glide across the mirror in the hallway, then vanish. "I saw my own reflection," he said, "and something else, something staring back." Some say Danny Hansford never left either. In the dead of summer, during thunderstorms, staff have heard the unmistakable sound of weeping from the roof, where decades earlier, a boy had died chasing a pigeon. A different ghost, another tragedy. But Danny is angrier. Visitors to the study often complain of dizziness, nausea, and pressure in the chest. One tourist fainted after claiming to hear a voice whisper directly in her ear. "I never had a choice." A psychic named Cassie Drew once attempted a reading in the house. Halfway through, she stood bolt upright and screamed, "Don't open that door!" There was no door behind her. She fled and never returned. "There's something else here," she told a local reporter. "Something older. It feeds on the pain they left behind." The mirrors in the Mercer Williams house are also never quite right. One visitor reported seeing a man behind her in a gilded mirror. Handsome, furious, with blood blooming across his chest. She turned. No one was there. The docent politely asked her to leave. A boy captured a photo on a tour in 2012. It showed a dark silhouette behind the grand piano, hands raised, mid-note. When he looked again, the figure was gone, but a fresh handprint remained on the piano lid. Cold, damp, human-sized. They say mirrors don't lie, but in the Mercer house they remember. A man named Terrence Ricks, a visiting historian, spent a night alone in the home to document paranormal activity. He kept an audio recorder running in every room. At exactly 4:01 a.m., the ballroom mic captured this: soft footfalls, a piano key, then a low male whisper, "Get out." Terrence never released the full recording. He was found sitting on the garden bench the next morning, unresponsive. He later claimed, "They argued all night. James, Danny, another voice I couldn't place. They weren't arguing with me, but it felt like they could see me." He hasn't spoken publicly since. The Mercer Williams house still stands. Immaculate, timeless. It is open for tours. You can stand in the same study where two men died, almost identically. You can see the Persian rug, the mirror, the pistol, and if you linger too long, you might hear a voice, just one, say your name. Some believe James Williams was cursed from the beginning. Others believe he sealed the curse himself with pride and blood and obsession. He won his freedom, Eleanor says, but maybe he only traded one prison for another. Sometimes late at night, Tourists will sit in Monterey Square, eyes fixed on the mansion. Just when they're about to leave, a flicker, the chandelier blazes to life. Laughter drifts through the open shutters, high, muffled, endless. A shadow sways behind the glass, raising a toast that no one sees. It feels like a celebration, until they realize who the guests are. And they remember what James once said, "This house is part of my soul." He meant it. And the party, it's just getting started. And it will never, ever end. Welcome to Phantom Tales. If you don't believe in ghosts, you will. Subscribe for horror that haunts. And remember, some parties never end, especially when the host refuses to die.